Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's look, we have Sterling as my lovely model once again. I'm gonna go ahead and prepare her skin using the Tarte water cream, and I love using this moisturizer as a base for makeup. It plumps, it gets rid of pores, and I'm gonna go ahead and just massage that onto her skin. And then moving on to prepping her under eyes using the Origins Ginseng Eye Cream, which has vitamin C, so it's gonna brighten under her eyes and hydrate. Now to prime her skin, I'm using the Fenty Beauty True Matte Primer on the Fenty Beauty Foundation brush. I'm gonna go ahead and smooth this down onto her skin so that way it's prepared for our foundation base. And then to add a little bit more moisture and a little bit of a glow, I'm using the Fix Plus by M.A.C in the lavender scent and just doing a gentle spritz of this. And then for her foundation, we're gonna be taking the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Foundation in the shade 220 on the exact same foundation brush that we used earlier, also by Fenty. We're gonna go ahead and use this to blend her base down into her skin and really making sure that everything is nice and smooth. Now to add a little bit more warmth, I'm actually taking the M.A.C Cosmetics Pro Concealer Palette. I'm gonna take the shade NW43 and really warm up her cheeks and her temples as well. I wanted her to have that bronzy glow, and I'm actually using the same foundation brush that I used earlier, just because the foundation that's left over in the brush is gonna help blend the cream out a little bit better. Then for concealer, I'm gonna go ahead and take her Pro Filter Concealer by Fenty in the shade 220, and I'm placing this under her eyes and her T-zone. Now we're just pretty much taking care of the discoloration on her skin, brightening her up a little bit, and I'm also going to take the leftover concealer to carve out her contour a little bit more, and then taking a fluffy blending brush and blending out the product wherever my sponge could not reach. Now to further brighten her under eyes a little bit more in the center of the face, I'm actually taking Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Light Medium Honey, and again, I'm just bumping up the brightness a little bit more with this product. Now to set everything in place, I'm using the Dermablend Translucent Setting Powder. I'm going to take the exact same Morphe sponge that we used earlier and really pressing the powder on her skin so that way it smooths down any texture and it prevents any oils from seeping through later. Then I'm going to go ahead and take the leftover powder with a little fluffy brush and just pretty much spreading this around to set the rest of the foundation. Now for her eyebrows, I'm taking this brow pencil by M.A.C Cosmetics. It's actually the universal shade, which is amazing because it's only one shade and pressure is the key factor behind how the color turns out. Then I'm gonna go ahead and take the Anastasia brow powder in the shade medium brown so that way I can add a little bit more dimension to these brows and create more of those realistic hair-like strokes. Then I'm using a little bit of the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer one more time to carve out the bottom of her brows. Now to prep for shadow, I'm taking the Soft Ochre Paint Pot by M.A.C and I'm placing this all over her eyelids very gently. And then for her eyeshadows, we'll be using the Morphe 35G Bronze Goals palette. It is a beautiful palette, you guys. This is perfect if you want to get that red carpet, very Kim Kardashian kind of look. I love using this one. I'm actually taking some of the darker shades and placing this on the inner and the outer corners of the eyes, and then using some of the lighter shades to blend it in between. Because we're trying to go for a halo eye, you actually want to keep the darker colors on the inner and the outer portions of the eye, and then use a softer transition shade to blend those colors so that way you get that soft spotlight eye. Now because Sterling's face is diamond shaped, I'm actually going to go ahead and give her a little bit of lift by taking the shadow and pulling it up her temples. That kind of wings it out a little bit, and again, it's going to lift her face up a little bit. It makes it look a lot more fierce. Now to prepare the lid, especially for the shimmer shade we're going to use later, I'm taking a little bit of the Tarte Shape Tape and adding this right in the center of the halo eye, and then using some of the darker shades that we used before just to blend the concealer out a little bit more before taking this loose pigment by Exposed Cosmetics in the shade Cabana Sun. You guys, this pigment is gorgeous. It's like the perfect copper color. We're gonna go ahead and place this right in the center, and again, having that concealer is gonna make it a lot more sticky, so that way the pigment really grabs onto it and it makes the eyelids look wet. It just gives it a lot more interest. It looks very elegant, it looks beautiful. And again, just placing some of the darker shades again on the inner and the outer portion of the eye to get more of that halo spotlight effect. Then we're gonna go ahead and line her eyes using the Demolition pencil, which is the Glide On Slide On version by Urban Decay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and take some of the darker, more brownie shades from the palette and use that to smudge the liner and bring those shades down the bottom lash line to even everything out and open up her eyes a little bit more. Now, I wanted the eyeshadow to be a little bit sharper, so I'm gonna go ahead and take Shape Tape and use that to clean the eyeshadow up a little bit more. And then I'm gonna go ahead and step back and see what I need to add, what I need to blend a little bit more, and just add more dimension as we go along. Lashes have been applied off camera, and I'm gonna go ahead and leave a link down below as to where I found them. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take the Patrick Starrr Give Me Life bronzer from his summer collection with M.A.C, and I'm gonna use this to set the cream contour that we applied earlier and to further bronze and add a little bit more color back into her skin. I felt like her under eyes were losing some of the brightness, so I went ahead and tapped Shape Tape Concealer again right in the center focal point of the face, and then went ahead and blended it out using my sponge. And then very, very lightly, I went ahead and I took a little bit more of that Dermablend loose setting powder and just tapped it over so that way there's no creasing. I'm gonna do a final seal of Fix Plus before taking the 8W Blush Palette by Morphe. I'm taking the shade MUA and placing this as a blusher at the highest points of her cheekbones, blending it down into the apples and blending it up into the temples. I'm gonna go ahead and contour the nose just slightly using the same bronzer as before. Before adding her lipstick, I'm gonna go ahead and moisturize her lips using the OFRA Clear Lipstick. Then I'm gonna go ahead and blend them out with foundation before taking the M.A.C Stripdown lip pencil. I'm so sorry, I had to think of that real quick. And then using this to line her lips before taking the Bare All Matte Lipstick by Morphe. I'm gonna go ahead and place that all over the center of the lips, blending it with a lip pencil. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take my favorite Fenty Gloss Balm, this in the shade Fenty Glow, and placing this right on the lips to make them look juicy and plump. Then I'm gonna go ahead and take the Hot Damn Extra Dimension Skin Finish Highlighter by M.A.C and placing this on her cheekbones, her temples, and then topping it all off with Diamond Bomb by Fenty. Y'all know how bomb this highlighter is. It makes your skin look expensive, wet, glowy, and we love using this product. Now, whenever we're done with a makeup look, just remember to always take a step back. That way we can observe what we need to add, what we need to take away, what we need to blend a little bit more. But other than that, we're pretty much done with this whole makeup look. And that is it for this tutorial. I really hope that you guys liked this video. If y'all did, give it a thumbs up. You know the usual. All the links to all my social media will be down below, as well as the list of products that I use in this video. So I really hope to see you guys next time, and bye.
I don't wanna keep that there.
Oh my god.
Get close to her and let's get 2, 3. Fucking shit, as soon as I hit it. Get your eyebrows. Pressure's on, everybody, eyes on Sterling. Yes.
You have a hair
Tie on. I need that clip. My god.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm saving that.